This episode of Reckley Pros Podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Looking to start a podcast, but unsure of how to? Anchor is the easiest way to get started. From a variety of tools that allow you to edit from your phone or computer to being able to distribute on any major platform like Apple or Spotify, Anchor has it all, and you can even make money with minimum listenership. It's simple, user-friendly, and most importantly, free. To get started, go to anchor.fm or download the Anchor app to get started making your own podcast today. Again, that's anchor.fm or download the Anchor app to get started making your own podcast. Let's roll right into the intro. Back to another episode of Reckley Pros, and welcome to 2022. Yes, it's been a while. Yes, I have not been active in my last episode, like end of September. So it's been a couple months. All right, I apologize. I had things to do. You know, I'm living by myself. I got all these people that are hitting me up, and holidays are coming through. So I apologize, but we're back. We're better than ever. I finally got kind of my setup in here the way I want it now. New camera, new equipment. So we got the ball rolling, man. So for those of you that are coming back to the pod to listen, thank you. If you're new here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Download on whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Chrome, Google Chromecast, whatever it is. Or not Google Chromecast. What is it? Google Play or whatever the Google one is. I don't really remember. And go ahead and follow me on my social media, Reckley Pro social media. Check out my Twitter as well too, and all that stuff will be in the description below on YouTube and on each episode. So again, thank you. So we're gonna kind of switch it up a little bit. I realized for 10 episodes that getting a guest week by week is like the most difficult thing in the world. A lot of people cancel, a lot of people have to switch time. So that in of itself is difficult. So I'm going to try and do this whole solo thing, and just kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about, I think it'll be fun, interesting. And if you don't like it, well, I don't really care. You don't have to listen. I only get like 10 listeners to begin with anyway, so whatever. But here we are. And we're in kind of the midst of kind of like a busy time of the year. The NFL playoffs is underway. NBA's at the trade deadline on the 10th. Just and then you got a lot of BS reporters lately. So, I guess the first thing we have to talk about. So this is so recording this on Wednesday. This will be out Friday, but let me just be very open. The Celtics suck. They are worse than the dump I took when I got home today. Like, they're terrible. They're absolutely atrocious. They can barely win games. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just don't, they're the same player. So it's like one guy's playing one-on-one for like half the game, and then the other guy's playing one-on-one the other half. And then we got all these guys that can't do anything besides Grant Williams and Robert Williams. The two Williams are the only guys that are really making contributions. Marcus Smart, does his thing on the defensive end and does the intangibles. But other than that, we're dog shit. We are terrible. We're bad. And I would say since, maybe 20, what was it? Not end of 2019. That 2019 to 2020 season, just before the NBA draft, I had said, draft Bol Bol. All right? Draft Bol Bol. Bol Bol is, for those of you that don't know, is the son of Manute Bol, okay? Manute Bol was the tallest NBA player to have ever played the game of NBA. Wow, that sounds bad. He's the tallest player in NBA history. He was like 7'8", maybe even a little taller than that. I don't know. Um, you know, he looked like you. If you've ever seen the movie Slender Man, that's what Manute Bol looked like, and so does his son. It's phenomenal. The only difference between the two of them is like Bol Bol actually like is can like plays like a point guard, and Manute Bol like his main purpose was just to block shots. He went to like the University of Bridgeport or something, I guess, and like literally his sole purpose is just to block shots and just be a pest. And I'm pretty sure the guy, he had like a fake birth certificate because I'm pretty sure that guy was like in his like in his like 70s or 80s, and they had him at like 54 when he died. I think he was much older than that, especially in college too. Like he was definitely not in his 20s. He was definitely in his 40s apparently. So there's that aspect. But to that point, his son Bol Bol, he was like a top 10 ESPN 100 player for his like high school graduating class. Went to Oregon. He was supposed like literally this guy was supposed to be a top 10 pick, and then and then he had being a big guy like that, you're gonna have like foot injuries and stuff like that from time to time, and then got hurt and he dropped it to the second round. Now, from what I recall, I think Miami actually drafted him, and then Denver traded for him, or Denver actually drafted him. I don't remember, but I remember like Miami had some type of ordeal with him or whatever. I don't remember the specifics, but he ended up getting drafted in like the second round. But they invited him into what was it, the draft room for like usually like the first round picks, and he didn't get drafted in the first round. He was, he ended up, I think he was like early second round, maybe even like mid second round. I don't remember, but to my point, he gets drafted by the Nuggets. The problem with him being on the Nuggets was they've always been like big man heavy, right? So for starters, like you have Nikola Jokic, where he's legit the best big man in the NBA right now, hands down. He can do it all. He can pass, he can shoot a little bit. Obviously, he's a force at the rim, rebound. He's the MVP last year, so like the guy can hoop for sure. Does not look like your average MVP. He kind of looks like, he looks like he should be part of the Addams family in a sense, where it's like he just looks like a dumb human. You know what I mean? Like he does not look like a smart individual, but he's the best player in the NBA, makes millions of dollars. So it's like I can't really like shit on the guy. Like good for him, like being that big. He's also into horseback riding, which is incredible as well too. Like I don't know any horse that would want a 7-footer riding them. Like I would be all set with that as well too. So like if I was a horse and like a 7 foot like 300 pound, like if a Shaquille O'Neal was like, hey, I want a horseback ride, and I was the horse, I'd be like, I'm out. I'd rather just die, because I'm gonna die anyways if that man is on my back. Like, no, thank you. I'm all set. But to my point, so you have Jokic on the team. Paul Millsap has been on the Denver Nuggets, and then obviously they did a trade last year for Aaron Gordon, and then you got is it Michael Carter? No, not Michael Carter Williams. Michael Carter Jr. I think he was like a top 10. He went to Missouri. I know that. He's like their other like forward, can kind of play at the guard position, play at the forward. It is what it is. But they're forward heavy, so there's not a lot of room for him at the moment, and he wasn't getting any minutes. But the dude is talented. Like the dude, I've been saying this about the Celtics for a long time. Is they need a guy. You got a Jason Tatum, you got a Jaylen Brown, right? We don't need another. We don't need a point guard to score 20 points because we have those two guys. What we need is a big man that's going to spread the floor. So we have a guy like Rob Williams just crashing the paint. If we can have just a fourth man be on the outside shooting threes, getting to the rim, like running in transition, we're golden. Like we'll be fine. But we don't have that guy, and that's the tough part. So for me, this is like the perfect opportunity to grab slender man Bol Bol. Like go get him. And I had been saying that for a while. Like let's go get Bol Bol. Like we literally wouldn't be giving up anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure we only gave up Hernan Gomez, and it was a 3-team trade from what I saw. So the Spurs got Hernan Gomez. Who was the other team that was in the trade? I forget the other team that was in the trade, but we ended up, it was the Nuggets. So it was us, the Spurs, and the Nuggets. I forget who the Nuggets got, but we ended up getting PJ Dozier, who was on the Celtics like back in 2018, 2019, and then we got Bol Bol, which I was like, great. The only thing with Bol Bol is he's gonna be out for like 3 months because of a foot surgery thing. Go figure. 7-foot big man breaking his big toe again. So that's great. But that's the guy I want. That's the guy I've been wanting for a while. We get him for nothing, which is huge. I just hope they're smart enough and keep him because we don't have money right. If we go get another freaking point guard, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because we have like 70 bajillion point guards on the Celtics right now. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. We don't need all these point guards. Keep Dennis Schroeder fine. Keep Smart. Keep Brown, obviously. Keep Tatum. But I don't even know if I want, to be honest, I want Tatum and Brown together anymore. Because they're driving me, up a wall as well, too. Like they just don't play well together anymore, which is really weird because, like, if we were to talk about this 2 years ago, when we had Kemba on the team, we were like the third best team in the East. These two were finally emerging. Like I'd have a whole different perspective. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna run the East. Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. You got Kevin Durant and James Harden with Brooklyn. Giannis is killing it in Milwaukee. Miami's Miami. And now you got the Chicago Bulls with Lonzo Ball, Levine, DeMar, Vucevic. Like we're royally screwed right now. And it's really showing. Like we need a good team to compete. And we as Celtics fans should not stand for this. This is not okay. Brad Stevens needs to be, I don't know why I just said Brad Pitt. Brad Stevens needs to be held to the fire. Like that is a fact because he hasn't done anything so far move wise besides, getting Bol Bol, which great move. If that works out for him, great, great move. And I won't say anything, but Danny Ainge hadn't made any big significant moves besides signing Kemba and doing that trade for Kyrie. And we need a guy that's going to be sustainable. For like keeping Tatum and signing that extension for him, huge. I mean, obviously we re-signed Brown for a little bit, great. I would say this, and I hate to say this because I do really like Jaylen Brown. He's got to go. He's got to go. We just got two guys that are the same skilled player playing one-on-one basketball. Get rid of them. Get assets that we need to just build for the future around Tatum. Because Tatum's our guy. Like, I hate to say it, but Tatum is our guy. And the thing with Tatum is when Brown leaves and Tatum has to show that he's going to be the guy that's going to lead us because he's a young guy and has been basically given the keys to the franchise. But we need results. And if we have a team around him that fits him, there's no excuses anymore at this point. So, but I'll leave it at that with them. But the trade deadline, I think, is February 10th. And people got to make some moves. Like the Lakers got to make moves. I would say not Charlotte. I think Charlotte actually has a decent team, but they got to figure it out. The Knicks got to do something. Philly has definitely got to do something. Not in terms of who they have on their roster right now. Get rid of Ben. Ben Simmons is the most soft individual I've ever met. Has anyone ever I've never seen anything like this. Like this guy I've never seen someone whine because they're told that they can't shoot a basketball. Like they're not a good shooter. Like it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, dude, like you make millions of dollars, just get a jump shot. Like you're just being lazy. Like you're not practicing your game or anything. Like you're just sticking to your intangibles. You can drive, you can pass the ball, and play defense. Those are the only three things you're good at. You're a terrible foul shooter. You're terrible you're a terrible jump shooter, period. And apparently you're a terrible teammate now too. So they need to like get rid of him and just put him to one of the California teams, so he can be with one of the Jenner. Is it Kylie Jenner that he's with? I think it's Kylie Jenner. Go be with her in California and, be the next headline guy that dates a Jenner Kardashian and, ends up splitting after 3 months, or gets married and then gets divorced. Shout out Kim Kardashian, shout out Kourtney Kardashian. Or you could just be, or he could, this is a thought too, could be a Tristan Thompson and have 17 million children with a bunch of baby mamas and have to pay copious child support. And she could be like Chloe and like continuously ask for him back. What an idiot. That guy's got to keep it in his pants. Straight up, dude. I've you need to go to therapy for your sex addiction. Like if you have that many baby mamas and that many kids, like what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like you could be investing that into Bitcoin and NFTs and digital real estate in the metaverse, and you're not doing any of that. Nope, you're just popping another one out. There goes another, $1 million in child support. What an idiot. But anyways, a lot of teams have to make a lot of moves to be successful. The teams right now that are like looking great in the NBA, like Phoenix Suns are looking good. Obviously Golden State looks like they're like back in full shape. You know what I mean? And then obviously Brooklyn looks good. Chicago looks really good in the East. And then I would say the only other team that like really stands out to me, I mean, like Miami's doing well, that's who it is, Memphis. Memphis is like won like 10 straight games and is killing it. Like Ja Morant looks really, like that whole Memphis team looks really good. They're gonna be a force this season for sure. But I've been surprised about like some of these teams this season. You know what I mean? Like my first example is like I can't believe like the Cleveland Cavaliers are like killing it this year. Like they've been terrible since LeBron left. The first time and the second time when he came back for like that final stretch of years, like they were great again. But then when he left, they're terrible. So it's shocking to see them like actually like in contention for a playoff spot this year. Unreal. I mean, Washington looks good. I knew they were gonna have a decent team. They've kind of been up and down. Toronto's been in the mix. Charlotte's looked pretty well. I think they're gonna be all right. I mean, thank God Philly's got Joel Embiid and Seth Curry and those guys, because I think without them, like Oh, and Tobias as well too. Without them, like I don't think Philly would be able to withstand Ben Simmons. No, I'm kidding. Like, of course you will. Ben Simmons scores like 10 points. Ridiculous. But interesting to see. And then, like, Minnesota's actually done pretty well this year. So they might actually be in the mix. Obviously, Memphis looks really good. I like Dallas, especially with that Jason Kidd hire. I think he's done well to start so far. So they look solid, but the NBA in of itself, we'll see what goes on. But I think the big thing right now that everyone's talking about because the NFL playoffs have just started, wild card rounds just ended, and I don't think there's any big shocking wins. You know what I mean? Like I think the Bengals were supposed to beat the Raiders. Um, I would say maybe the only one that maybe surprised me a little bit. What was it? Who the 40? Well, yeah, no, I would say the 49ers and the Cowboys game. That one shocked me. I'll be honest on that one. Um, but all these are like pretty expected. You know, I think the Bills, as much as I hate to say it being a Patriots fan, the Bills were the better team this year. We had that one win in Buffalo. It was crazy weather, and we almost lost it. And we ran the ball the entire game, but our defense just like collapsed against Buffalo. Like Josh Allen is going to be a good quarterback, and he's going to be around for a while. It just all depends on like what type of quarterback he's going to be. You know what I mean? Is he going to be a caliber of like a Brady, which that's like going to be like not sustainable at all, or is he going to be kind of like a Phillip Rivers um, or you know, um, or I would even say Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but like since that one Super Bowl he's won, when's the last time he's been in a Super Bowl? The Packers the Packers are like they're always going to be good, but they're never going to be good enough to make it to you know to the Super Bowl for some reason. This might be their year, and they might prove me wrong, but I don't know. Devontae Adams killed for my fantasy team. You know, I'm also a champion by the way. So I was doing fantasy football this year um, with my buddies, some family friends, so on. I'm a champ, man. Fantasy football champ. Killed it this year. I had a good team too. Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, Josh Allen was on my team. I had Aaron Rodgers for a little bit of time, just as backup in case Josh Allen got hurt. Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr., Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, by the way, he's had the best season as best tight end statistically this season, hands down. And if anyone wants to argue me on that bet, do it. He was way better than Kelsey this year, and way better than Kittle, way better than Gronk, way better than Darren Waller. He was hands down the best tight end this season. That's not a debate. And for anyone that wants to say that I'm wrong, no, I'm not. I'm right. 100% right. He had the best season as a tight end. He was the most consistent, great in the red zone. I just wish that Lamar was healthy and gave him the ball a little bit more. But Lamar can like run like 70,000 yards in like one game. So, you know, it is what it is. But imagine him with like Brady or Rodgers or even well, I mean, Pat Mahomes, like you already see with Kelsey. Imagine him with Mac Jones. Holy shit, that would be awesome. But I will say this as a Patriots fan. I think we got a little bit of ahead of ourselves this year. We expect Super Bowls just because of Bill Belichick and him being the greatest coach of all time, or one of the greatest coaches of all time. But we didn't have the team. We didn't have the team offensively to win a Super Bowl this year. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. I think Damian Harris is a really good weapon, and we got to do something to keep him around. Max, obviously, a great quarterback, and was the best rookie quarterback, hands down, this season. No one was better than him, especially Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was terrible, and same with Zach Wilson was terrible too. Like, those two guys were dog shit. But we just didn't. We didn't have weapons that we needed. And I think there's going to be a lot of weapons available at the end of this season. So we really need to go and get some guys. You know what I mean? We need to try and keep our defense together as much as possible. But we need to keep some weapons offensively. If we got to go get a couple new running backs, so be it. But try and keep Damian Harris. I don't really feel like I wouldn't be upset if we got like a whole new receiving core, because our receiving core's just been okay, and a lot of times they've sucked more than they've been good. You know what I mean? Especially at the beginning of the year, like as a receiver, you get paid to catch footballs. Like, if you are tipping a ball, right? If you're missing, a catch or anything like that, or tipping a football, like, there's no way at all that you should be tipping a ball up in the air for someone to have the opportunity to get an interception from. That's like where all of Mac's interceptions came from this year, was just guys just like throwing the ball up like it was a volleyball. Like, it's fucking football. Like, smack, like, do whatever you can and like at least just tip it to the ground or something. It's so utterly ridiculous. But who am I to judge? But Mac is going to be a good quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys are the most fraudulent franchise, by the way, in NFL history. After that 90s era of like them winning a bunch of Super Bowls and so on, like, they are not America's football team anymore. Like, let's be realistic with ourselves. The Cowboys are not, like, it's the same thing with the Yankees too, right? They're like, for baseball, like, you have these two franchises that it's like, oh yeah, the Yankees are like America's baseball team. The Dallas Cowboys are America's football team. No and no. Absolutely not. Cowboys have been terrible because Jerry Jones like has dementia half the time and is trying to make the final call on everything. No, he needs to be cut out from that. You're an owner, stay an owner, stop making decisions. Let your coach do that. And on top of that too, like, there's something each year with like the Cowboys had a good defense, and obviously Dak is Dak. Dak, I think, is a good quarterback, but there's situations that they're put in where they just don't have a piece or two that they need to win, or they go on these spans of like accountability and so on, and like just not being good. And they haven't really had they haven't had good coaches, I don't know what they're going to do with this guy at the end of the year. But it's not looking too good. You know what I mean? I personally think they'll probably fire Mike McCarthy. Because I don't think I don't think they're going to do what they did with Jason Garrett, and keep plugging him along until it's just not worth it anymore. They like just fire him, but and go find a good coach. Because there's gonna be plenty of them out there. That's for sure. But he's just not the right fit. Um, so I don't know. I don't know, but Dallas fans stop saying you're going to win a Super Bowl every year. You're not. You know, New England's kind of going down that same route too. We also need to not say we're going to win a Super Bowl every year because we have Bill Belichick. It's just not the case anymore. Um, until I see our team win a division again, I won't be saying that. And I hope as Dallas fans, you guys each season should not be saying you guys are going to win a Super Bowl because as long as Tom Brady lives and breathes in the NFC now, you guys are fucked, royally fucked. And that was proven week 1, by the way. So all Dallas fans, get your priorities straight. I'm in. On top of that too, there's a lot of teams that need to reevaluate themselves as well too. I think one of them, the Browns, obviously something like that's not really working very well either, and something about Jacksonville, they stumbled on bad luck this year. Urban Meyer should not have been the head coach of that team, and apparently Urban Meyer's a scumbag. So that's a tough pill to swallow, but not shocking. So they really need to find, again, coaching market's open for business. They better find, that's a team that better find a good coach. Because I'll say this, Trevor Lawrence is he was the number 1 pick for a reason. He is a good quarterback. He just did not, they had terrible coaching this year in a sense from Urban, and they didn't really have a lot of weapons. They had a lot of young guys that were just coming into the NFL. They had a lot of pieces that really weren't going to work out. So hopefully they can at least get some pieces together and be good again. But I really don't think they're going to be anything special in the future. And unfortunately, that's going to lead into the bust of Trevor Lawrence. Yes, I said it. He's definitely going to be a bust. Zach Wilson will probably be a bust, but at least the Jets are moderate. They compete a little bit, right? The Jaguars just did not do that this year. But we're not talking about teams that aren't in the playoffs. What's one that I want to touch up on for sure? Like I said, most of these were pretty expected. I knew the Bengals were going to win. Obviously, I think we all knew the Bucs were probably going to win. When you got Brady in the postseason, you're not gonna bet against them. I think everyone knew the Chiefs were gonna win. I think it was really just that 49ers Cowboys game because I think a lot of people thought that Dallas was the better team. But 49ers have just they were on a tear at the end of the year, which is crazy. If you think about it, right? They beat the Rams the last week of the season. They destroyed they destroyed the Texans. They beat the Falcons. In their last, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? In the last 8 weeks, they went 7-1, which is crazy because I don't think they started off very well at all. They were not good. And that division too, the NFC West. I mean, the Rams obviously won the division. They had a great season. I think most people thought the Cardinals were going to get that first round bye, and they just missed it. So that was a little shocking. But they were a great team this year. Um, and then I mean Seattle was the worst team this season. Seattle's been a Super Bowl championship team in the NFC West before too. So like that whole entire division, I think that's the toughest division right now in the NFL. Because the South NFC South, not a whole lot of competition. NFC North, not a whole lot of competition. Bes, Besides Philly and Dallas in the NFC East, like Washington's not really that good anymore. The Giants have just been terrible. So we'll see what next week entails, but I think people need to understand that the 49ers are a good team. And they weren't in the Super Bowl too long ago too. Let's not forget that, and they almost beat the Chiefs. So we'll see. We'll see. The tough one that I kind of felt bad for was the Raiders game. Was the Raiders and the Bengals game, because obviously I think everyone knew the Bengals were going to win that game, but you really feel for like Derek Carr and the rest of the Raiders team, because you had that whole issue with Gruden being fired, and having his character diminish, being quote unquote racist and so on. So that was a big issue, and then you had that rookie receiver getting that being charged with a DUI and the car crash and killing some people. So they've had like all this drama going on, and you feel bad for a guy like Derek Carr, because I think Derek Carr could be a consistent playoff quarterback for sure, but they just don't have. They've just had issues year in and year out with just like inside drama and some outside stuff. The AB situation was a tough one, and then obviously this year they had a lot hit the fan. So the fact that they got to the wild card is pretty impressive. Like I'll say that. So they're a good team too. They got good pieces. They just got to find the right coach, and I don't know. I don't know if they'll keep their interim guy or not. We'll see, but with them being in Las Vegas now, like I think they got a lot of pressure on them in a sense to like perform and be good, because they need the entertainment for Las Vegas, besides just like the whole casino and nightlife thing. So having a couple of these like the hockey teams in the area, you got them. I'm wondering who they're gonna have next. I do wish they kept the Raiders in Oakland. They just built the franchise in Las Vegas, but whatever. But with all this being said too, right? The one thing that like ticks me off about playoffs in the NBA, I don't know about anyone else, but I am like so sick of like the mainstream ESPN like report debaters, whatever you want to call them. I'm like these guys drive me up a wall. Like they enrage me as a human being, because Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, and Colin Cowherd may be the most annoying sports broadcast debaters, whatever you want to call them. They're scumbags, all right? So let's get something straight here, all right? With with all three of these guys, all right? So the first order of business, all right? As soon as like these guys are meant to create drama. So they have a list of unoriginal topics that they just debate about that just get people fired up, right? Like we hear the same, we keep on hearing the same crap like over and over again. Is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? Like that's a debate like every freaking week on ESPN First Take. It is the most annoying debate ever. And Stephen A. is a scumbag, by the way, because he got what's his face, Max Kellerman off the air, and because Max Kellerman actually had some decent points besides the Brady thing. And Stephen A. is just like the most annoying, unoriginal human. Now, like, if this podcast ever becomes like big, and he sees this, like, I could care less. Like that guy is so annoying, and he's not like his takes are terrible. Skip Bayless literally has a million different Twitter accounts. Whenever he tweets something, they just praise him, which is just really him behind another account just talking about how great he is. Like Skip Bayless is the worst debater as well too, and has no idea what he's talking about half the time. And then he just claims like every good team during the century, like when the San Antonio Spurs were good, when they had like Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, like all those guys, he used to be like, oh, my San Antonio Spurs. No, they're not your San Antonio Spurs. Like, you're a phony fan. You're terrible at your job. And people don't like coming on your show. Like, he's the most unoriginal human. He just gets people going because he has all these outrageous takes in basketball, in football, in baseball, whatever it may be. Like and it was the same thing with the Patriots. Oh, my New England Patriots. No, not your New England Patriots. Like you don't deserve to be a fan of the New England Patriots because, oh, I love Tom Brady. You used to talk shit about Tom Brady, and Tom Brady exposed you on Man in the Arena. You should be ashamed of yourself. You are so bad at any debate, period. It's like half the time these guys like make takes, I don't even think they agree with what they're saying because it's so preposterous, but they're so bad at debating and they have no original topics that they just sit there and they all bitch at each other about how bad the A, B, C, or D. Like I cannot watch ESPN sports shows anymore. Like I just can't. The only guys I like on there is what's that? That new show that Max Kellerman's on. That's the only one I like listening to because you actually have some decent guys there. You got the guy from Duke, you got that ex-professional football player, and then you got Kellerman. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on these guys because they're always on TV now, but those guys they actually have a decent show. First Take sucks. Like all these shows suck now. They're terrible. Like they're so bland, they're so boring. They're so like the stuff they talk about is so unoriginal. Like there's so many times you can use the is LeBron the greatest of all time topic. Like there's only so many times in an NBA season you can talk about that. It's so annoying. Like I'm so sick of hearing about that and then like hearing like a preposterous take. Like Stephen A. had a take about it where he was talking about he had JJ Redick on the show, and JJ Redick just eviscerated him, like put him in his place. He was talking about how like LeBron James isn't feared like Michael Jordan. It's like, dude, that is the dumbest take ever because first of all, LeBron James is still one of the greatest players in the NBA. He's getting older, but he's still one of the best players in the league. You're going to tell me a 19-year-old kid going up against a reigning like MVP, or not a reigning MVP, but a former MVP, a 4-time champion, isn't feared by one of probably the foreseeable future is one of the best two players to have ever played the game of basketball, like statistically. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, that is ridiculous that you're saying he's not feared. Like if anyone is going up against him for their first time, like, they're feared. And especially in the playoffs. Like, dude, he went to the finals like from 2010 to 2018. I believe, right? Yeah, 20, because he left Cleveland after that season. Up until 2018. So for that span of time, he's in the finals every year. And then he missed the playoffs for the first time since, like, I think, like, his rookie season or something. Like, he hasn't missed the playoffs many times. And they just had a shitty season in LA that year. So, like, we need to get over, like, these guys need to come up with way better original topics, because this is like, if ESPN wants to, like, stay relevant, like, they need to do better. And the guys that they're having on for this stuff, like, they may have worked hard to get where they're at, but they're so bad right now. They're terrible. They're garbage. Get people, like, find topics that are good. Get people that are, like, entertaining, and just riff. Like, we're, like, enough with this, like, bland bullshit. Let's find some good shit. He's bad. And then the one that, like, set me off the edge with, like, was with, what was it? Colin Cowherd or Cowherd. How are the cow? Colin Cow shit. That's what I'm calling him. He had a take on. So the Patriots had just lost the Bills, last weekend, right? On Saturday. Gets on a show the next day and talks about how, literally discusses, like, oh, Mac Jones, they need to trade Mac Jones. Dude, what are you talking about? Like, why would we do that? It's his first season in the NFL. He's the only rookie quarterback this year to make the playoffs. They had a 10-7 record. They won 6 straight games. He had one of the highest completion percentages this year, and the highest as a rookie QB. Like that is the most absurd and preposterous take ever. That we need to trade him because we didn't beat the Bills. Josh Allen is, like, one of the best QBs in the league right now. Like he was an MVP candidate last year. They had made the AFC Championship game and lost to Kansas City, who probably had, like, arguably has the best quarterback in the NFL right now, Pat Mahomes. Like, at least he's probably top 2, if not top 3 for sure. Because, you got Rodgers, Brady, and then Patty Mahomes, and then Josh Allen is right in that mix too. He's just outside, but he is in that mix. The thing with, like, Josh Allen is, like, Josh Allen's just sporadic and, like, gets out of the pocket, like, real quickly. So, and that's why he's great, and that's why they've had such a good season, is because he can just get out and run, which is big time. He doesn't really care about getting, like, laid out or anything like the rest of these quarterbacks. But back to my, like, original point with, like, Mac Jones is, like, why would we trade a rookie quarterback, like, to get what, an Andy Dalton and be the Chicago Bears? Absolutely not. No thanks. Like, Justin Fields was terrible for them this year. Like, we picked the best quarterback in that draft, and Bill Belichick did a pretty good job with him. The one thing I would say with Bill that he needs to do is just take the entire training wheels off him. Like, get him some assets and just let him go, and let him be great. Because he can clearly throw the deep ball. He's a very accurate quarterback. Like, it's great. So Colin Cowherd's take on that was ridiculous. Like, I don't know why he thought that, but he does not need to be traded. Like, that shouldn't have even been a topic, especially after his rookie season. He's the only rookie quarterback to make the playoffs. And let's not forget, too, so Lamar Jackson's rookie season in the postseason, he lost his first game. I'm pretty sure Pat Mahomes lost his first game. as a rookie. No, actually, maybe not. I don't really know how you would define his like Pat Mahomes' rookie season. Do you count that first year when he was like a full-time starter, or that like kind of like half year, like quarter half year he had when he kind of finally took the reins? You know what I mean? Because if that was the case, he didn't. I don't think he technically won his first playoff game then. And then, they're just trying to they're just really trying to compare Brady and Mac Jones, and you can't do that. And then like the fact that like Stephen A. is like, oh, this is like Bill Belichick's last Super Bowl and so on. It's like he might be right, but he also might not be right either. Like Tampa has a way better put together team than we do. Like they just do. Like you have one of the greatest tight ends to have ever played the game of football in Gronk. You have Mike Evans. I mean, you had Antonio Brown, but that lunatic in Looney Bin's gone. You have a great defense. You have great running game with Fournette and a couple other guys and Godwin. Like you just have good. You have a good overall team. So it's like it's ridiculous to me that they're sitting there and they're like, they're just like, oh my God, like it's over. Like the Patriots are no more and yada yada. It's just like, dude, shut up. We're in a rebuilding mode. Like get over yourselves. Like we may not be like a Super Bowl contending team every year, but it's like I'll take Mac Jones. Like we're going to be all right. We just got to get some pieces around him for sure. But like those three guys suck. Like get new guys. Seriously, get new guys and get better shows, ESPN. Seriously, because people like Barstool Sports and like Spotify's getting people. These podcasts are doing way better than yours. Like there's so many people that are way better than these guys. I listen to like former players podcasts more than I listen to like ESPN. Like I listen to a lot of like the Barstool podcasts, like Part of My Take's very good. What's the name of the one with Steven Jack? Why am I forgetting everything today? It's just not my day. With some of these with some of these names, I don't know why I'm having trouble with stuff. Steven Jackson, but him and All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. That's what it's called. Yeah, that's a really good podcast. And like Draymond Green has a podcast now. Bussin' with the Boys with like Taylor Lewan and Will Compton. That's a great podcast. I like watching that one a lot because they always have some pretty decent people on there, whether it's football related or not. There's so many better sports podcasts because they're not trying to be like the big issue with like reporters and analysts and stuff like that for these professional, like these big media outlets like ESPN and Fox and so on, is the people that have never played like a professional sport, like either playing in the NHL, the NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever it is they're like giving their opinion on the skill level of people and how good a team is in the locker room chemistry and stuff like that. And they're labeling themselves as like professional experts. And it's like, dude, like, no, you're not an expert. Like you've never played. An expert is someone that has experienced it in at least the sports world. Like I get what the definition is of an expert and so on, but like these people are not experts because you need to have some type of background in the sport from a professional standpoint to me, and none of these guys have it. Not Skip Bayless, not Stephen A, not Colin Cotard, none of them. They're all terrible. They're all garbage at what they do. I'm serious. At least with the podcast that like Barstool has, some of these other ones have like it's either former players or it's just got like dudes just like talking sports, being idiots, but they're not claiming to be experts. You know what I mean? Or analysts or anything like that. So that's what's interesting and entertaining about it. And they're free spirited and they just do what they want to do. Like they talk about what they want to talk about, and the whole point of it is like be funny. Like, and none of these guys are funny at all. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But I like literally rant about these guys, like about how bad ESPN has become, like sports show wise. But we wouldn't have enough time in the day to literally discuss how bad these guys are for sure. Like, don't watch ESPN. Just don't. And if ESPN's seen this, I would like a job. Seriously, please. No. I'm definitely not gonna get a job after this. But those guys are terrible. But I think I'll stop it here for the day for the episode. But yeah, it's been a fun little one. Just to get back into it. I appreciate everyone for listening and tuning in to the first one back. I am gonna still try and get guests on here for sure, but I like doing the solo stuff because I want to keep this as consistent as possible and just kind of like riff about whatever is on my mind and what I want to talk about. So, if you like it, great. If you don't, then whatever, man. You clicked on it anyway, so come back next week. So, it is what it is. But, but yeah, I'm gonna try this solo stuff out. I think we'll see how it goes. But I am gonna try and still get guests, for sure, and we'll probably do it in a different manner instead of me interviewing them. Just talk about what's going on in the world of sports and things of that scenario for sure, rather than just doing like their life story and so on. But I'm excited to see where this goes for sure. I'm glad we finally actually got the equipment in that is going to make this look better. And I have definitely done some work to this quote unquote studio to make this look good. So I hope you guys like it for sure. And again, follow us everywhere. All that will be in our description on both YouTube and all of our platforms. So make sure to give it a look there. But again, guys, welcome back. 2022 Rec League Pros, episode 11. We're out.